Hello and welcome back to Redemption HQ. I am Brobarian and I am joined today with Robert, Spectral Force, and Harlan. Welcome, gentlemen.
Howdy doody.
Good evening, audience.
Good evening.
And by the time you're listening to this, Happy New Year.
Yep,
Yes.
Happy New Year. And eventually happy birthday to me, so I got that going on. But we're going to start off...
Brobarian.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just barely missed the line to be born on the 1st. I'm a January 2nd baby. Anyway, but I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start off this episode with some sad news here. We lost a fellow member in the Evil Genius family, Eric Nelson. Eric Nelson, his wife, Owen, has passed away over the holiday weekend. His daughter, Erica, has started up a GoFundMe. We're going to have the link down in the description below. If you could, please donate a little bit to help him out. This is going to help towards medical bills and just cost of living. And it's hard to talk about sometimes, with the people's passing away. This has been a pretty rough December for many people out there. We understand the economy, and we understand that it's holiday seasons spending. But if you could open up your heart and help out a little bit, that'd be appreciated. Owen was an editor for Evil Genius, and she helped get a lot of these books up and running and out the door for all of us to enjoy. So if you could show your appreciation, that'd be wonderful. And even just drop by the Discord or on the Facebook page and send your condolences. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, she was a big driving force behind a lot of the ego assignments as well as work within Evil Genius Games. And her husband, Eric, is like a terrific dude and super on the balls. We're all hoping that any help that can go to him is, it's well deserved. The dude has a heart of gold. So, I know I'll certainly be donating, and we've got we've got a person who needs some help over at Evil Genius. So we're happy to do what we can to get him that help.
Hear, hear. Thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely. Thoughts, prayers, condolences. But today is we're going to be discussing wise heroes. So wisdom is, I gotta say, is one of my favorite stats, and in IRL, wisdom is one of the stats that many people seem to be lacking.
Yes, big time.
Well, you got to remember, wisdom comes with age.
True.
So,
and experience.
Right. So you gain wisdom by doing stupid shit and learn not to do that. Now,
Exactly.
there's a saying, a smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So, and I've always tried to learn from the mistakes of others so I don't make those same mistakes. Whether it's, at work, whether it's in a personal life, whether it's in any kind of relationship that I've seen that, when things have gone awry and mistakes are made, don't make sure you observe other people as you live life, because you can see how they fuck up so you don't fuck up.
Yes, and I'm a big fan of making mistakes and not learning from them.
Learn from the history or be doomed to repeat it.
Yeah, that's right. So,
or knowing that...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, or knowing that you have enough in life. It's like saying no to a karate Christmas special.
No, you can't say no to a karate Christmas special.
Or I'm sorry, a karate Christmas miracle like Eric Roberts. See, Eric Roberts has enough in life, but he was lacking wisdom. He should have just said
Eric
no.
Reference.
He should have just said
that's
no.
in the front end of the show. That very rarely happens this early.
It does. Maybe he needs the money. Remember, he's not as rich as his sister.
True.
Yes, true. Bro, Baron, you should have seen me, dude. When we were recording at PAX, I fumbled and I couldn't remember Eric Roberts' name. I felt ashamed. I thought I should quit the podcast, right then and there.
It's all right.
we only do one flogging for forgetting the name. We don't have to quit. We just flog you a little bit.
Yep.
Which is
fine.
fine.
Get admonished.
That, or we'll have you do it yourself, like the Opus Dei.
Yes. I'm like Silas from Da Vinci Code, just flogging myself.
Cat of nine tails flailing.
Yeah, dude. Well,
Now,
what do
that
you
would
say
make
we
an
jump into it?
interesting
I think.
CA, wouldn't it?
Oh, Da Vinci
Da
Code?
Vinci
I would
Code?
play the hell out of
Yeah.
that CA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would too. I liked it. I liked that series.
I really did too. I honestly liked. I liked the show, and I even liked both the movies.
Now I'm going to sidestep. That author had 2 other books that were not with the same main character. One was Digital Fortress. That was really good. If you haven't read it, read it.
I think I read Digital Fortress.
I don't want to give anything away. It's a good read, but it's worth your time. I mean, and I read fairly quickly. Once I'm into the book, I could do like a 300-page book in like 2.5 to 3 days.
Yeah.
So
I have the time set aside. I can do it. I'm reading 1Q84, and it is thick.
yeah, now I just mostly read detective novels that are somewhere around the 300-page vicinity, like say 270 to 320, 330.
I love a good airport novel. Just a paperback with. I mean, I'll read a bunch of like James Patterson, which is like not great, but it's like pop rocks. I can just consume it and get no nutritional value from it and enjoy it.
They are fun reads. That's how I feel about the Da Vinci Code. It's historically horribly inaccurate, but as a work of fiction and as a conspiracy fun time, it's a fun read.
Yeah, you got a cool character, you got a cool like main character, and it's interesting enough to keep you invested, and it's there's a handful of books where I remember reading and describing like the plot to somebody or the premise, and I'm like, as I'm saying it out loud, this sounds stupid.
I just struggled to find time to read a Grumpy Monkey, so,
Well, before we run too far off of Wise Heroes, I think Spec is going to kick us off with our archetype basics.
Yeah. All right. So, you are known as a person who thinks before you act. You observe the world around you and move with its rhythms instead of struggling against the tide. By first knowing yourself, you can reach out and make the world a better place. The Wise Heroes are thematically diverse, but they all have a focus mechanic that can be spent to activate special actions and abilities. So, we have a D10 hit die. Starting hit points is 10 plus your con modifier. Higher levels, there'll be 6 plus con modifier at the first. Your defense is 10 plus your wisdom or dexterity. You get to choose whatever's better, plus your Wise Hero defense.
Right.
Now, talents. You get something at every level 1 through 10. First level, you get focus, concentration, and a class talent. Proficiency bonus runs at +2, same for defense and focus points. For focus, you have focus points equal to the number shown on the Wise Hero table, which can be spent to use your concentration talent, as well as talents granted by your class. All your focus recharges when you finish a short or long rest, which is actually better because I think Genius points for Smart Heroes only do a long rest.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Also, at level 1, you get concentration. When you fail a wisdom ability check, you can spend 1 focus to reroll that check. This can be used only once per ability check. At level 2, you get 1 step ahead, 2 minor feats, or 1 major feat. 1 step ahead, you can choose not to fall prone when you take the dive for cover reaction. Well, that's pretty good.
That's good.
It really is.
so-
Once you get gunplay in there.
Yeah. At the even levels, you get 2 minor feats or 1 major feat. At the odd levels, you get a class talent feature. At level 5, you go to +3 for proficiency in defense. It's a +5 for focus. At level 3 for focus, it goes to 4. Level 6, you get 6 focus. Level 7, you get 7 focus. Okay, so focus goes up every level with the exception of 4 and 5. It's 5 for both. After that, it goes up to 9 for 10th level. And at 9th level, you get a +4 defense bonus as well. And that will cover the basis of the Wise Heroes. Going into the first class, you have the Hunter.
Yes, you do. And tracking is about getting in the head of your prey and seeing through their eyes. Ain't that right, Big Boo? And that's the famous quote attached to it. So the Hunter, whether it's big game or a fugitive from justice, your prey was doomed the moment Ow, get off of me, cat. Sorry, cat started digging their claw in my my leg.
It's your
Little
animal
jerk.
companion.
Oh, I know. Yeah, except for they're making the attack against me. So,
He's a
back to it.
warlock. He has a black cat.
Where was I? Oh, your tool was prey from the moment you set your sights on them. You can hunt with a faithful companion or go it alone and focus only on your chosen target. Either way, there can only be one outcome. The hunter is both a skilled hero and one that can hold their own in combat. Their animal companion can both be fun and effective, but makes the hunter a complex character or class to play in combat. So their proficiencies are strength and wisdom. Their skills, they can choose any from the three between acrobatics, arts and crafts, athletics, endurance, insight, medicine, perception, stealth, and survival. Equipment, they get the basic equipment and advanced equipment, and they get hunting expertise. So they can choose from one of the endurance, perception, stealth, and survival. But you must be proficient with that skill to take the expertise in it. And the recommended equipment is the hunter pack, and weapons are hunting rifle or modern bow. So at level 1, they get hunting companion, hunter's mark, and animal husbandry. At level 3, they get companion training and marked as prey. At level 5, advanced combat training. At 7, learn their moves, no escape. And at level 9, marked for death. So at level 1, the animal companion, or the hunting companion, you have an animal companion that can hunt beside you and obeys your commands. You can choose among the companion types listed further on in the book. Those would be, they've got a bird, a feline, a canine, and an ape as potential options. You also get the hunter's mark. As a bonus action, you can spend one focus to mark one opponent you can see. You and your hunting companion gain the following special advantages against a target you have marked. The mark represents your determination to bring that target down. Bullet point 1, you and your animal companion have advantage on wisdom perception checks against the marked target. Number 2 is you and your animal companion have advantage on wisdom, streetwise, and survival to checks made to track them and chase them down. And the next one is you can take bonus action to make a single attack against the marked target, or to command your hunting companion to make a single attack against the marked target. You cannot add your ability score modifier to the damage of this attack, but your companion's damage is calculated normally, which is pretty cool.
It's nice because it's kind of like an offhand attack that you can make with your companion.
Yeah, especially if
Definitely.
you can train your monkey to shoot a gun. That's even better.
And I know it doesn't have an expiration time for that marked status either.
No,
which is huge.
Yeah, no, that's great. Honestly, I mean, just quick aside, the hunter in Everyday Hero is 1,000 times better than the ranger in D&D 5th edition. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm just seeing him say that. Animal husbandry. As an action, you can command your animal companion to use the second wind action. You cannot do this again until you and your companion have completed a short or long rest. Companion
That's another
training.
good one. Before you go on, Bro Baron, I just want to point out another thing since we brought up that there's no expiration on that. It also seems like as many focus points as you have, you can have marks.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Yeah, because it doesn't say that you can't. So, yeah. You could literally, if you get into the big boss battle,
you can mark 9 targets.
Exactly, and just pick them off as you go through. That's pretty cool. Companion training. Your companion adds your proficiency bonus to its defense, ability checks, saving throws, and damage rolls. In addition, your companion can make opportunity attacks using its reaction, which is awesome. Marked as prey, you can spend one focus to re-roll a damage roll against a marked target made by you or your hunting companion. If multiple dice are rolled for damage, you re-roll all damage dice, and you may only do this once per attack. The advanced combat training is once during your turn when you or your companion take an attack action. You or your companion can make 2 attacks as a part of that action. Learn their moves. After an opponent hits you or your companion with an attack, you and your companion now gain a +4 bonus to defense against further attacks that same opponent makes against you or your companion until the start of your next turn. No escape. You can now spend one. Yeah, I know, right? +4 on top of all of that. Yeah, that's your defense can go way up above the 20s for sure.
Yeah, that's like hiding behind a level of cover.
Yeah, it's it's pretty good. I'll tell you. And so no escape. You can spend one focus to re-roll a missed attack against a marked target made by you or your hunting companion. You may only do this once per attack. And marked for death, which is awesome, you and your hunting companion now deal an additional 1d8 damage on all successful attacks against the marked target.
That's really nice.
That is a strong
it really
class.
does speak to that same sort of extra damage you get from some of the strong hero classes at their 9th level ability there.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like I'd play a hunter. I mean, I was always, a ranger fan anyway, but yeah, the hunter definitely sounds better than the 5th edition ranger.
It does, which is awesome. I mean, they're a master of the wild and the master of the hunt, but what they're not is a master of their fists.
They're jamming their legs. I finished Robert.
And that does sound like a good segue for the master class. Nicely done there. Nicely done. Now, the master class, as you mentioned, is a master of unarmed combat. I know we did have a martial artist agile hero. That type of martial artist focused on speed and immense damage with every hit, whereas the master, as a wise hero class, it focuses a lot more on sort of the soft styles of martial arts, redirection of forces, redirection of energies. And the term master, well, in different languages, whether it's, for those of you that watch Kung Fu Panda, you might recall Sifu, which is literally just teacher. Master in this case means an instructor. So whether it's Sifu or Sensei or Sabanim, that's what this particular class refers to. And the quote here for the iconic hero of this class says, "Your inner spirit will always feel faster than the mind can think. Cultivate a beautiful spirit, and you can overcome anything. Through long training and meditation, you have achieved something rare, karmic harmony, inner balance, and the ability to kick prodigious amounts of ass. You need no weapons to make your presence felt by those who would disturb your tranquility. The master is a melee combatant with a diverse range of both offensive and defensive moves. It doesn't hit especially hard, but they can strike quickly and in unexpected ways. Like a true aesthetic, they don't need material equipment to be at their best." Now, this class gets proficiency in wisdom and charisma, and they get to choose, again, 3 skills. The wise hero classes generally tend to get 3 skills from their list, and they get acrobatics, arts and crafts, deception, endurance, insight, medicine, perception, performance, sleight of hand, and survival. That's a really nice class list and really gives you a wide range of possible supplemental abilities as far as your in and out of combat skills. Now, for equipment, you're just proficient with basic equipment and improvised weapons. And yes, you can imagine just about any scene of a Jackie Chan movie where he turns furniture into weapons. And the recommended equipment is the martial artist pack, not surprising, and either your unarmed strikes or improvised weapons. Now, I do note that as a melee combatant, the wise archetype in general has the same high defense bonuses per level that the tough hero gets, and the same high hit die that the strong hero gets. So this is actually a really nice combo with this class, and even though it's the only wise hero class to not get a free expertise at first level, it more than makes up with it with some of the shenanigans they can pull throughout the levels in combat. So as far as the talents go, level 1 talents include the Mystic Arts. Now this is actually a multifaceted talent. This allows you to use your wisdom instead of other ability modifiers when making any attacks with melee weapons, and that also includes the damage rolls. You can also use wisdom instead of any other ability modifiers when making special attacks or when trying to escape a grapple. And to refresh, special attacks include making a grapple, shoving, pushing, tripping. So you can use your wisdom for just about any special or direct melee attack, which is fantastic because that's the stat you're going to want to really pump up when you make this character and advance in level. It says specifically you can add your ability modifier, the wisdom ability modifier, to the damage of melee offhand attacks you make. So you are already getting a boost to that offhand attack because just like in 5e D&D, if you make an offhand attack, in Everyday Heroes, you don't usually get to add your ability modifier. but as long as it's unarmed, and not even just unarmed, just any melee offhand attack, the master can use their wisdom modifier for the damage there. And it says that as long as you're not wearing armor and are not encumbered, your defense improves by 1, which is automatically going to make the master one of the highest first level defenses you can get with if you have a good high wisdom. And to top it off, the pièce de résistance for this talent, you get a damage reduction 15 against any damage you take from falling. This is incredibly packed for a first level talent.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, it's massive. The first time I ever played with the master class, I literally jumped 10 feet down into a sewer and said, I'm going to invoke this talent. So I just landed in a like Black Widow pose from the second Iron Man movie and said, yeah, he takes no damage because it's damage reduction 15.
and you're a master.
And then the other talent you get at first level. Exactly. Okay. And the next talent you get, again, this is still first level, is Ki. And again, that's Ki. And this represents the things you can spend focus on. So you can spend 1 focus for any of these abilities. You can spend 1 focus to take the dash, disengage, or dodge action as a bonus action by spending a single focus. After you make the attack action on your turn, if you only used unarmed strikes or melee weapons that are not heavy, then you can spend a focus to make 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus action. Now this pairs beautifully with Mystic Arts, because with Mystic Arts, as long as you've made a melee attack, you can make that offhand melee 1 attack no matter what with that bonus damage from your wisdom modifier. With Ki, you spend that Ki point after making that melee attack, you can make 2. This is a really nice nod to the flurry of blows concept we're all familiar with from other D20 games. And finally, when you fail a strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics check, you can spend 1 focus to re-roll that check once per ability check. And again, this really lets you focus in on how that same wisdom ability that you have as a baseline wise hero archetype, where you can re-roll a failed wisdom save. Well, now you can do that for very physical in and out of combat activity. It's beautiful. It really is. I love this class, in case you couldn't tell. And then at third level, we again get 2 talents. And the great thing about this class is you'll get 2 talents per level, one of which is going to really build off of the things you can spend your focus on, your Ki, and the other is going to be an ability that doesn't require spending Ki. So at third level, Dance in the Storms says that when an opponent attacks you and misses, and you're within 5 feet of a different opponent, you can use your reaction to cause the missed attack to hit the second target. I can literally say, okay, that guy tries to stab me and misses. I just grab his wrist and keep that momentum going, and he stabs this guy that's behind me instead. It is beautifully cinematic. I love it. And what a great use of a reaction. Now, its pair in level 3 is the talent Flow Like the River. Whenever you hit an opponent with one of your attacks granted by your Ki talent, you know that the 2 attacks you can make as a bonus action by spending a focus point, or when you hit an opponent with an attack you redirected, like in Dance in the Storm, in either of those options, you can make a special attack against that target as a free action. So if I either make that double attack by spending Ki, or if I redirect that knife to hit the guy behind me, well, whoever's getting hit with that redirected or focused powered attack, I can automatically trip, shove, or grapple them as a free action. Now, it's not automatic that I win. I can just say, hey, I'm going to make this attack with my wisdom instead of my strength or athletics, but I can do that without that. I get a free action. That's awesome action economy.
That's pretty big. To just even have an opportunity to, as a free action, grapple, like
it's huge. And imagine if you're on a rooftop and say,
it's just a roll to the dice.
I redirect this attack, and I'm just going to shove this guy 5 feet over the edge. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. And going on to level 5, focusing on the combat level of this Master Wise class, you get advanced combat training, which is the standard we've seen in a lot of the combat-heavy classes. Once during your turn, make the attack action, and when you do that, you can make 2 attacks as part of that action. The second talent you get at level 5 is Ki Strike. When you hit an opponent with an unarmed strike, and it doesn't specify whether this has to be just your regular unarmed strike or something you used your Ki to do as a bonus action, anytime you hit with an unarmed strike, you can spend 1 focus to attempt to stun that target. This forces the target to make a Constitution save equal to 8 plus your Wisdom modifier plus your proficiency bonus, and if they fail the save, they're stunned until the end of your next turn. That's pretty sweet.
Stunning is always good.
And that brings us to, stunning is fantastic. I mean, it sets up your allies so very beautifully because a stun target gives advantage to anyone that attacks them. So it really is a great gift to the other members of the party. And then we come to level 7, and level 7 is where we really get bouncing off the walls here. Level 7 begins with the balance within talent. Your mind, spirit, and body are in tune. That's how the flavor text starts here. But they're so in tune that you are immune to the frightened, sickened, or intoxication conditions. You just cannot be frightened or sickened anymore, and you just cannot get drunk anymore. You can't gain levels in intoxication. And you are absolutely immune to poison damage.
Love it.
I don't think we've actually seen a class yet where you're absolutely immune to a damage type. And again, this really speaks to the almost mystical, super-powered cinematics of this character class and its concepts. I mean, like I know I mentioned Kung Fu Panda that was meant to be a bit of comedy, but you could use the master class to play just about any of the characters from a wuxia or wushu style novel or story, or a martial arts movie where there's a very big mind over matter mentality martial arts master. It's really quite amazing. And level 7 also gives you the evasion talent, which this is that classic that we saw in the Scoundrel back in Agile Heroes. When you make a dex save to take half damage from an effect, if you make the save, you instead take no damage, and if you fail the save, you only take half damage. I mean, this is fantastic. And again, I think we saw this also with the martial artist class. So this really gives this wise hero a little bit of a dip into some of that agile mentality.
Absolutely.
And that brings, I love it. And that brings us to our 9th level capstones. And again, the master has 2 things. One specifically deals with making the focus mechanic just beautifully maxed out. And the other is a massive buff. When we will eventually talk about the everyday hero class, which actually was played in our PAX game. But in that class, I would be hard-pressed to pick which of these capstones to choose. So first level 9 capstone is called Deep Focus. When you roll initiative, if you have less than 4 focus points left in your focus pool, your focus automatically becomes 4. So you can have spent the entirety of your focus. You could be at 9th levels and spent 8 of your focus points. And then you roll initiative, your focus goes up to 4. There's not a cap on that. It doesn't say once per short rest or once per long rest, just any time you have to roll initiative, you are guaranteed at least 4 focus points. That is wonderful resource farming right there.
Big time.
And lastly, and let me tell you, this particular one, I'm not going to lie, when I did my Black Panther T'Challa build for Everyday Heroes, I picked the Master as the main class for him because, like the Willow, the level 9 last capstone gives you proficiency in all saving throws. All 6.
That's awesome.
You already start first level proficient with 2, and you get the other 4 for free at 9th level. And to top it off, this talent also says, by the way, when you fail a saving throw, you can spend 1 focus to re-roll that save, but must use the new result. So the Master is a massive, passive tank.
Yeah, becoming proficient in all saving throws
all about
right off the
absorbing
rip
and
is
redirecting
awesome.
those hits, where the martial arts is all about hitting hard and fast.
Which, I mean,
I know I've said it before. I love this class so much.
Especially when you take into consideration that the wise heroes have the highest hit dice of the 3 soft skill classes. I mean, it's
right.
Yeah, absolutely. You're moving through combat easily. You know.
Oh yeah, you are moving through the enemy
fear.
like a scythe through wheat.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And now that I've mastered my enthusiasm, more or less, I believe that we still have one last mystery to solve, right?
That's correct.
That was a terrible segue. My apologies, Harlan.
I knew what you were going. I knew what you were going for. I feel you. That brings us to the last wise class in the core rulebook, which is the sleuth. Your Veronica Mars, if you will. This is my backup character for the Ego program. I guess I was rewatching Veronica Mars, which made me want to do it. But your sleuth is exactly how it sounds. Evil never sleeps, so neither do you. Your keen perception pierces the veil of the devious. Your inner darkness gives you insight into the worst villains humanity has to offer. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. The sleuth has the skills necessary to solve mysteries and avoid dangers. They are the most defensive of the wise heroes with abilities to help them stay alive. At higher levels, they gain offense to make them dangerous to unwary enemies. So the important thing to remember about that is that this is a skill class. Like the master, unlike the master, I mean, the master is a combat class for sure. They have a lot to offer.
Almost
of course,
directly.
they have a lot of resistances. Yeah. But this is a really fun class to play because although it is a skill-based class, there are a few things in here that will really keep you alive. So for their saving throw proficiencies, it's intelligence and wisdom, obviously. You get to choose 3 skills from arts and crafts, computers, deception, insight, investigation, perception, security, stealth, streetwise, and vehicles. Their equipment proficiencies is just basic. Investigative expertise. You get 1 expertise from insight, investigation, or perception. Obviously, you have to be proficient to gain that expertise. And their recommendations are, you guessed it, either the detective pack or the police pack. And then the weapons are a heavy revolver or a hunting rifle. I thought the hunting rifle was an odd choice for a sleuth, but I guess it goes to Sherlock Holmes, with his deer stalker and everything. But this is a much more compact class when it comes to the talents. So at level 1, you front load with 3 talents: deduction, sixth sense, and weak spot. So deduction, when you fail an intelligence ability check, you can re-roll that check. This can only be done once per ability check, but there is no limit per rest. So anytime you fail an intelligence-based ability check, you can re-roll it once, which right away, from your skills, a lot of them are intelligence-based, so it's good to stack those and always re-roll. I mean, if anything, just to frit fish, because it doesn't say that you have to take the second one, but I guess a re-roll would imply that, so redacted. You get sixth sense, which has one of the things that the masterclass does offer, which is you get to use your wisdom instead of dexterity for any attack or damage roll you make with weapons that don't have the heavy property. So that means if you decide to...
That wording lets them use guns, too.
Yes, it does. So you get to, if you buy high on your wisdom... you can actually have a formidable weapons class, and that's your attack and damage. And if you decide to dip in other classes and take more equipment bonuses, it gives you a wide spread for what you can use your wisdom. So if you're taking all wisdom and intelligence based skills, I mean, your dex is for your armor or your defense. I mean, so yeah, you still want your dex high. But for everything else, you just kind of dump into your wisdom, or not dump, you pour it all into your wisdom, and you just get to swap that for all your attack and damage, which is great.
Well, remember, with the base class or the base archetype, you can choose your dex or wisdom modifier for your defense.
Correct. Which also that's a perfect segue, actually, because the second part of Sixth Sense is that you can use your wisdom instead of your dexterity for your initiative.
Ooh.
Which is a
Nice.
great trade-off if you've got that high whiz. And then the third one is something that it's really, it kind of, depending on how your GM runs the game, it might not make a difference at its face value, but this is actually a great little bonus. You can take the search action as a bonus action, which fits really well with the class and kind of lends to it being a skill hound. So
yep, right on
also
theme,
at
right
level
on brand.
1. Yeah, it's perfect. So, I mean, it allows you to act in combat initiative, but also do a search action as you go. So it's good for if you're in a pinch and you need to get something. I've seen ego missions that if once you enter into combat, you're like, okay, well, I'm stuck in combat now. It still allows you to function as your skill base in that. So that's pretty good. So this is something very important that I used a lot as when I was playing this in Ego, which is weak spot. As a bonus action, you can spend a focus to gain advantage on your next attack roll against one opponent you can see. If that attack hits, you deal an additional 1d6 damage. Now, that amount of damage increases with levels. So at level 1, it's a d6.
Nice.
At 3, it's 2d6. At 5, it's 3d6. 7 is 4d6. And at 9, it's 5d6. So it's a little bit like Vital Strike, except that you got to spend out of your focus pool. But it's, this is not really a combat class. So Vital Strike, it's any time, which works just like Sneak Attack. But this is a great bonus, especially because that, weak spot stacks like Vital Strike does.
Yep.
And
it gives you advantage on the attack.
Yeah, exactly. So if you do dip into like Agile and do a Scoundrel, you can combine those, that Vital Strike together. Take a bonus action, give yourself advantage, gain Sneak Attack, and you can stack your Vital Strike and your weak spot. So after level 1, at level 3, you gain Alert, which is you can't be surprised. It's not a very versatile talent, but it will come in handy so that you're not sitting there getting caught flat-footed, since we were talking about 3-5 earlier. So also at level 3, you get investigative expertise again. So you choose another one from Insight, Investigation, or Perception. So that's your second expertise by level 3, which is pretty nice. So those are going to be your 3 bread and butter skills. So you're going to have at least 2 of those with expertise. At level 5, you get Roll with it. When you take damage from an attack, you can use your reaction to have the attack's damage against you. Always great. Any damage reduction you can get, not bad. And especially when there's no contingencies on it. It's any damage. It's not weapon damage. It's not trap damage. It's just any damage. Just have it. As long as you've got a reaction, you're good to go. At 7th, you get Evasion. When you make a dexterity saving throw, take half damage from an effect. To take half damage from an effect, you take no damage on a successful save and half damage on a failed. Not too bad. And then at 9th level, your final talent. Yeah, and let me just go back to Roll with it. It is damage from an attack. So I think I might have misled in the way I worded that. So it's attack damage, but still. And then at 9th, this again goes back to you being a skill hound, is that you get Elementary. You always treat a roll of 9 or lower as a 10 on any ability check you make that uses Perception, Insight, or Investigation, even if you're not proficient in these skills. So those are the ones that you get with your investigative expertise. So basically, if you've taken expertise in those, you're guaranteed to pass every single time. I mean, given like a basic DC, if you always roll at a 10 and then stack your expertise on top of that, there's a good chance you're passing every single check with your main 3 core investigative skills.
Yeah,
so it's not a very robust class. It's not very robust, but it really does. It doesn't have to be complicated for a class to be powerful and reliable. So, like I said, that is your sleuth. It's a very simple, wise class to play, but it's very effective. It's a good thing that'll supplement any party that you're rolling with, because you're getting a lot of stuff that is all useful in the Everyday Heroes setting. So that is my argument for Sleuth. And that brings us to the end of the Wise Heroes in the Everyday Heroes core rulebook.
Excellent. Yeah, we just have we've got 3
Charming.
No, we got the vault. We had to do the vault.
Yes.
Yeah, there's 3 of them in the vault.
Oh, that's
if
right.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on to Charming, and then we're almost
I think
there.
there might actually be more. I think there's 4. I think there's 4 in the vault. Because you got Commander, you've got Bonded Twins, you've got Chosen, you've got Mutant Psychic.
Oh, yeah.
Mutant Psychic, yeah.
I forgot about the Mutant Psychic.
Yeah, it's hiding in those extraordinary classes.
That's because the Mutant Psychic made you forget.
That's true.
Professor X, huh?
Exactly.
Or Jean Grey.
So,
or Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
That's right. And I'll do a quick little plug here. Using one of the Wise Hero classes, in the Wise Hero archetype is I got a great opportunity for building a character for this. And that is the Nacho Conline that is happening January 24th to the 26th, this month.
Well, almost this month. Oh, yeah, by the time this airs, it'll be this month, yes.
That's right. It is the online convention sponsored by Evil Genius Games. There is a website extension on Evil Genius Games. It's called the Nacho Conline. So for anyone familiar with the organized play, that actually makes a lot of sense. There's going to be plenty of opportunities all 3 days to jump in on the organized play assignments. From assignments 1 up through 9 will be the final one. So it's kind of like you could run through all of the assignments in 3 days if you wanted to. We have a couple of panels going on with Evil Genius Games staff, including Brian C.P. Steele, who we had an opportunity to interview at PAX, who is super. It was a great interview, man. He's a solid guy, man. I like that dude a lot. And we have a couple of special guests. So Dave Scott, CEO of Evil Genius Games, is going to be moderating a panel with Steve Walsh of the Living Dead Media in kind of celebration of the return of the Living Dead upcoming CA.
Woo!
So we've got a few fun things. There's a few contests involved in this.
Contests? I didn't hear about the contests. What are the contests?
I'll tell you about the
Content.
contest. I'm glad you asked, Spec. So we're doing a faux commercial or recruitment spot or a 2-page menu for the Nacho House locale. The commercials can be 15 to 30 seconds. The prizes... the way, all the...
Before you get to the prizes, how do we submit for the contests? Obviously, we're not eligible because, we're us. But for the people out there that are intending, how do you submit if you're doing like an advert or if you're doing the menu, do we have that set up? Like how you can submit those?
Yes, we do. And I'm scanning through to see exactly where.
I know I come with the hard questions.
You do come with the hard questions. You always come with the questions that I don't have in front of me the answers for.
That's because I like to keep you on your toe.
Yeah.
I mean, remember the questions I asked Brian back at PAX? Some of them are like, hold on, I got to think about that for a second.
Okay, so submissions will be available for listening, viewing, and voting on the Nacho Conline Discord from the 12th to the 25th. Wow.
So you can submit as early as the 12th, is what you're saying?
The cutoff is the 10th.
Oh, the 10th. Wow.
Yes.
We're going to have to advertise that pretty good because by the time this airs, it's going to be, the 3rd maybe?
It'll be the 3rd.
Yeah. So by the time this airs, people only have a week to submit.
That is correct.
What's the criteria? Is it just audio? Are we doing visuals? What do we have?
There's audio and audio-video categories.
Yeah.
So they'll go into 2 things, and it's great that they tell us where or when all the submissions are due. But unfortunately, it doesn't say where.
Reach out on the Nacho Conline Discord, and we will figure out at some point where to submit them to.
Yes, the invite for the Discord will also be in the on this video, as well as, like we said, the GoFundMe. I'll have a link to the Nacho Conline website. You'll have everything you need to jump in, and even though I can't answer that question right now, that question is answerable. I promise you. So yeah.
And now
I'll include the Warhorn link as well.
Yep. And now the prizes for the winners.
So submissions, like I said, will be available from the 12th to the 25th with winners announced at the end of the Nacho Conline. The first prize in each category will be awarded by popular vote. Digital copies of the Vault, the Armory when it's published. Digital copies of Intergalactic Heroes and the Game Master's Guide when it's published.
Wow.
Okay, here we go. Here is the contest submission rules. Submit your entry, your submission to ego@evilgeniusgames.com with the subject heading Nacho Conline Contest. And you will just label it either category A for audio, category B for video, or category C if you want to submit a Nacho House menu. And that can be found in the fine print. It says, and now for the fine print, right on the first paragraph, that's where you'll find it. I knew it was on here somewhere. But it should be a good time. It is the first annual Nacho Conline. So I really hope that people can come out and we make it a good event that we can look forward to in the following year. It's an entirely volunteer, started, driven convention that is being supported by Evil Genius Games. So we would love to see all of our Ego volunteers, all of our players, even people. Hey, if you aren't an Ego, no problem. Still come. Get into Ego. Or just come for panels and stuff. It should be a good time. So, yeah, there you go. Nacho Conline. Any other pressing business before we call it a night?
No, I can't think of anything.
Nope.
It was really great to have one last recording before the new year, though.
That's right. Yes. My apologies for my spotty attendance. Things have been busy in my world as of late, so I'm trying to realign and start to manage my time a little bit better here.
That's all right. It all worked out.
Yep, all worked out. So, who wants to take us out?
No, I guess I'll do it. Bro brought us in.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
So, I just want to reiterate real quick, given the time of year it is and the passing of Owen, please remember to check out the GoFundMe. Link will be posted. Make sure you sign up or at least join the Nacho Conline Discord. Also, link will be posted. We're looking to see you there. I mean, we have 52 subscribers minus the EGG people. So we know you're out there. So please come join us. All of us will probably be there at some point. I believe Harlan's running games, and anybody, Bro or Robert, are either of you running any games? We're not sure yet.
I am planning to. I'm just double checking my work schedule on that weekend to see what time frame I'm available.
All right. And, we are not forgetting our overseas friends, so there'll be games available for you folks as well. And with that, this is the closing of the year 2024, gentlemen. And so far, it's in the world of EGG, or at least in the world of Everyday Heroes.
Yeah.
It's been a good, year in game, and we can't wait to see what 2025 brings. The Armory and the new CA of Return of the Living Dead, and I believe Intergalactic Heroes, and you people. Ego new season 2 will start in the summer as of right now. So for the end of 2024, we wish you a happy new year.
Happy New Year,
New Year to all.
Happy New Year.